Hail to our legal warriors. In this video, I'm going to cover 3 things that people never tell you about judges. I was a judge for a very short period of time myself, and so I fit into one of these categories also. So if you're interested in judges, and you have to go in front of a judge, and there might be a few things you haven't thought about, stay tuned. This is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Linwood, Washington. My law firm has been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington State for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get the help they need. Now, what are 3 things that you've probably never been told about judges? And you might not have ever been told anything about judges. And I try to think of, what's the stereotype of a judge? Maybe someone who's all powerful and makes decisions and is hard on crime and tough in this type of way, and that might be a stereotype we think about for a judge. However, I think the first thing you've not been told about judges is they actually care. Almost all judges actually care deeply about what is going on in front of them. They take the responsibility very seriously and greatly to try to do the right thing by everybody involved. Now, some judges may have more of a bent of I want to protect the public, and some judges may have more of a thought of how can I make sure that the suspect in a criminal case, the defendant, benefits the most from whatever goes on in the courtroom in the case. So not only can they be reclaimed in life, but society can be made better as a whole. So so you might want to think there could be the hanging judge who's more on the side of, how dare you, and I'm gonna take retribution for your wrongdoing. And then there might be the judge who's more about rehabilitation. It's very bad that you're accused of this crime, but I'm very impressed the steps you've taken since you've been accused of this, and so I want to try to see if I can encourage you on those steps, and maybe it's more of a carrot approach. I'm going to give you a better result if you continue on this path than the stick approach that another judge might have. But in either case, I think each judge on either side of the spectrum really cares about what they're doing, and we don't want to forget that. I think the second thing that you haven't probably been told about judges is there's some really smart ones, and there's some that really don't get it or aren't up on the law yet. They have a different, incentive for how to do things, and so way of doing things and different incentives to stay on top of things. And some are more active or less active in learning and learning new things and trying new approaches. And so you usually want to talk to your attorney about if you have a touchy situation about, hey, what type of judge is this? This is the judge who focuses more up to date on technical legal things that might help your case, or do you have some good legal issues, but you've got a judge who sort of is known for not really being tuned in to those legal issues, or maybe not thinking about it how the rest of the public thinks about it, right? I can think of a situation of a judge that I was in front of once who had a certain idea about the law. Was a compromise of misdemeanor law, and the judge opined that they didn't think it was possible to dismiss a theft case under compromise of a misdemeanor from something in their head. Okay, and I of course disagreed, but the judge is the judge; they win. So knowing that ahead of time, if I have that same type of legal issue, I probably don't want to bring it back in front of that same judge. I've never had another judge do that in the state. 20 years of defense work, but so in my opinion, that was a unique legal theory. And so judges can be outliers and really, maybe not up to what other people interpret the law, or they could be really on top of things and really proactive and really educate everybody, including the prosecutor in the law. And I think both judges have their place, but realize that something's probably never told you that they're just different as people are different. And I think the third thing that people have never told you about judges is it's a really hard job, and sometimes a judge can feel overwhelmed, especially a judge in a new location, a newer judge. When I pro tem judge for once, man, I didn't know what was going on. I was sitting in court, and the lawyers would be talking, and I was just so overwhelmed with what form to use and all that that I couldn't necessarily pay attention in that early, substitute judging part of my career like I would wanted to. And I think a really good attorney who's in front of a judge like that will hopefully try to slow down and notice and try to get the attention of whoever is the judge. I ran into that, case recently where I was in front of a court and I was making what I thought was a pretty strong argument to the court. And all the court was doing was focusing on their paperwork, right? They're rattling their paperwork, not looking up, not listening to anything I had to say. And so, as an experienced attorney who's got some, if you have an attorney who has some bravery, they might say, "Excuse me, Your Honor, um, if I could have your attention for a second, it looks like you're having, some issues with the paperwork. I totally understand, but I'm going to pause until I can get your attention because this is very important to my client, right?" You gotta be careful how you say things. You don't want to upset the court, but realize that you might not have been told that judges, while they're trying to do their best, they can also suffer overwhelm, and they don't know everything, right? They don't know, the new way the clerk is doing this, the new way that these forms are being done, stuff like that. And so, why this is important that you know these things is because how you appear in front of the judge matters. And we want to show the proper respect to the court. We want to, no matter what our feelings are, realize that that's a person up there who's trying to do their best. And if we understand that it's not just some robot, hopefully we can treat them with humanity. And we sort of get back what we give, right? So it's important that we understand that judges are just people, and they've got a hard job, and they want to do a good job, and most of them do most of the time. So I hope you found this useful. If so, please like and please subscribe. More people get to see it. More importantly, if you get a legal problem in Washington State, feel free to reach out to my law firm. We'll listen to what happened. We'll identify a way forward. And we will be there for you. Thank you.